She's a wonderful person, and she's, as I love to say, heiress to the great cordial liqueurs fortune. Ladies and gentlemen, well, please welcome Janet Kuypers.
You know, you're saying that
Beach schnapps for that, right?
You know, I think that was the first liquor I actually had, was the Kuyper Beach Street Schnapps. Although I would have preferred it if you had said the Kuyper belt in astronomy, because I like my astronomy references, but nobody ever thinks of it. So hi! I am going to, before I read anything, because I'm the headliner, I talked with a young lady that was here earlier about publishing stuff, and she was looking at, I have to get, like, I have to eat this for a time. One good thing about CC&D magazine is that we do not care if something is previously accepted for publication, because if we want something of yours, as long as you have the right to it, you are just giving us the right to print it somewhere, and you can do whatever you would like with your work. So I have a card here, because I think I would take any one of those three, or something else feeling sad, and I'm getting off the stage to hand this to you because I'm an idiot. And it says, and the CC&D was the magazine, and I'm in the way of Kuypers, and I feel like a goofball, but I'm lucky, and I get that out of the way. And they were all good in different ways. If you wanted them to send them to me, and I wrote if there were email problems, how to send stuff to me. Now, do I have a limit of 3 pieces, or am I a headliner and I can just read and read and read?
Go as long as you want.
Oh, wow.
This stage is yours.
Yippee skippy. I was, well, you know, I remember the last time I was here, I was like, I did 3 or 4, and you were like, stay and do more. And I'm like, okay. So, because the last time I was here, I happened to read a bunch of pieces that were weird things to make people think. And I just like leave the stage in the middle of the poem or whatever. I thought I'm going to go in my usual vein with the vast majority of these things, and they're going to be angry and death related. But this first one is about anger with a relationship, and it is called Let Me Be. There is love at one side of the spectrum. There's hate at the other. And then, in the middle, there's indifference. Indifference, apathy, lack of anything. That's what's that in-between space. After we broke up, I drank too much at bars, getting too angry, getting too depressed, and now I want to live my life, and I swear I want you to be no part of it. And it's not because if I see you, I'll lash out at you. And it's not because I inherently, desperately want you back. And it's not because I'm busy comparing you to what I could have. It's because I have better things to do, and you're in the way. Because there's so much I could do. I could jump out of an airplane. I could write a novel. I could make my first $1 million in the stock market. Well, it could happen. I could take the stage. I could take a shower. I could file my nails. I could fall asleep. I could do whatever I want. And I want to make it clear, I'm finally free of you. And I mean that in the physical sense, in the intellectual sense, in the molecular sense. I mean, I'm free of you. So please, get me out of your head. Let me be. This is called Left with a Hole. Do you ever see TV shows or in the movies how some protagonist would fall into a coma? I don't know from what, a gunshot, a car crash. Well, every time they wake up from the coma and they're under for like 4 weeks or anywhere to 4 years, well, they come up too and they're mentally just fine. They talk in complete sentences, and they remember what happened to them right up until that catastrophe. But let me be the voice of experience. In the real world, that's not the way it goes. You don't remember what happened right before the coma began. You wake up confused, because your long-term memory never got the chance to save your short-term memories from that fateful day. When you wake up, you'll have to train yourself to walk and talk and eat again. You'll fall out of your hospital bed trying to leave. You want to kill the people who did this to you. You want to scream your story to the world as they put you in restraints at night. you know, for your own protection. You want to rip that food tube out of you, but you'll be then afraid to put food into your mouth. Look, you have to remind yourself, you've done this before. It's not hard. Everyone does it. Put some food on a fork, put it in your mouth, remove fork, start chewing, and just swallow. I know it seems strange, but you can do this. You have to build your life again, piece by piece. I mean, you did it from scratch when you were little. You're an adult now. You can retrain yourself. People will ask you if you remember what happened to you on that fateful day, and they'll think it's just like the movies, and everyone just snaps out of their coma as good as new. You won't know how to tell them that you'll never be as good as new, and nothing you can say will make them understand that even though you woke up, those bastards who did this to you, they took so much that you can't even remember the seconds before your life was forever changed for the worse. You're left with a hole. They even took your memories of the last seconds of your life from you. Let me think, what have I got now? This is one, I tried to pick pieces that I hadn't read much, this is what I'm going for, and this one is, I don't know about anxiety, I have no idea. It's called Keeps Pounding Against Walls. I feel this pain in my chest, so I try to rationalize it away. This isn't heartburn, my arm's not tingling, it's not a heart attack. But I think I know that my heart's been pounding because my heart's been trapped. It's been trapped, and I don't know if it's trapped by my ribcage. I don't know if it's trapped by your male oppression. I don't know if it's trapped by my cowardice or my fear or by... I don't know what trapped my heart, but it's been pounding so hard. So hard that it's slamming on those walls, those goddamn walls that I can't even see. God, I don't even know about the walls, but my heart keeps pounding against them. I don't know about the walls, but my heart's still pounding. I might do something girl-related because somebody was saying this is a girls' night. This was the one I was planning on doing. Because I was in this death theme for a while, I thought I would share one with you that I had written after my uncle had passed away. And this is just extrapolation based on how I knew he died. That was all it is. And this is I Can't Breathe. Just can't breathe. Over the years, with all of our problems, I felt like I've been drowning. And when I felt like we've been in the clear, life began suffocating me. I know this sounds selfish, but I just can't take this anymore. I just can't breathe. I've served my country, led a good life, my family loves me, but these demons tell me it's time to go. This torment follows me wherever I go. And this pain called life ages me. I wheeze, fall down on one knee. I need to take a nap, but I'm afraid to fall asleep. That's when I'm vulnerable. Will I gasp for air when you collapse my lung? Will I feel my chest cave in? Or will I know that you're right and know this is my time and just say farewell in my sleep? You know, she's like, oh, it's girl time, girl. and I'm like, wait a minute. I brought this along to be able to have for the last one I was going to do tonight. I'm like, I think there's a performance art thing. Yes, it happens to have this performance art show of mine in this, which was, I can't remember which one it's called. Right before it was the Stories of Women. That was the Stories of Women show. I did an hour-long show in Lake Villa, and I had monitors with video going with me drawing poems and stuff with all these women's issues. And I said, am I going to have this one women's issues poem, which I can do from memory, but it's in here anyway. This is a poem called Too Far. When he met me, he told me I looked like Kim Basinger, long blonde locks. But as time wore on, I knew I wasn't her, and I could never be her. And I was never good enough, thin enough, pretty enough. So I got a perm, I straightened my teeth, I bought the Wonder Bra, but that wasn't doing the trick. So I decided to go and exercise, and I used a stair stepper. I ate rice cakes and wheat germ, but I wasn't thin enough. I only dropped 20 pounds. So I went to the spa. I soaked myself in mud and wrapped myself with cellophane, bought the amino acid facial creams, but I knew they didn't really work. So I went to the doctor and got my nose slimmed, my tummy stapled, my thighs sucked. Thought about getting a rib or two removed, like Cher. But I figured they've got to be fair for something, and hey, that's just going too far. I wanted to end it on this one, and that was why I had my book, so I can show my astronomy reference on this one. This is the one that's not very bad sounding. This is called Observer's Love Poem. Maybe I'm not a writer. Maybe I'm not an artist. Maybe I'm an observer, like an astronomer, looking out past the solar system, past the Kuiper belt, looking out into the universe, trying to understand what makes everything. I travel around the world, learning different histories, different cultures. I fly in airplanes, I jump from airplanes, I pilot airplanes, trying to get closer to the stars. Molecule by molecule, we originate from stars, and I know that we're all linked, our bodies formed from stardust. But outer space is a violent place. Violent explosions create the stars, and our Earth has earthquakes, avalanches, volcanoes, tsunamis, typhoons. And in all of this madness, somehow I've found you. With you, I've walked on the tops of glaciers. With you, I have watched solar storms from near the Arctic Circle. With you, I have walked through the gates of Hitler's first concentration camp. With you, I have sailed from island to island, retracing the origin of species. I bought a balalaika for my guitarist in Russia. I even held your hand at the Great Wall of China. I've seen galaxies collide. I've seen comets smash into planets. I've seen supernova and the death of stars. And in all of that, I still found you. As I said, I'm only an observer, but I found what I've been looking for. And with these observations, I thee wed, because I'll never let you go.
You bet. Janet Kuypers, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to mine those asteroids. It's going to be wonderful.
Yay!
Oh, wow. That was a lovely, lovely festival of gynocentricity. I told you the word collider was up and running.